You're living like a homeless person outside your own mansion. Think about it. You spend your entire day scrolling, comparing yourself to strangers, chasing likes, begging for approval from people who don't even know your name. Meanwhile, there's a palace inside you that you've never even stepped foot in. This isn't some feel-good bullshit. This is about why you feel empty even when your life looks perfect on paper. Why you're anxious even when nothing's actually wrong. Why you keep buying stuff, chasing achievements, and still feel like something's missing. A 16th century Spanish nun figured this out 500 years ago. And what she discovered will completely change how you see yourself and your life. Stay with me. This gets intense. I picture this. There's a beggar sitting outside the gates of a massive, beautiful palace. He's been there for years, eating scraps, asking for handouts from people walking by. He's cold, hungry, miserable. But here's the thing. The palace is his. It was built for him. Inside are gardens, fountains, treasure rooms, everything he could ever want or need. The door isn't even locked. It's wide open, but he never goes in. Why? Because he doesn't know it's his. He's so used to begging, so convinced he doesn't deserve better that he never even looks up to see what's right there. That beggar is you. That beggar is me. That beggar is everyone scrolling Instagram right now, feeling like shit about their life. The palace. That's your inner world, your soul, your authentic self. Whatever you want to call it. It's the part of you that social media can't touch, that your boss can't control, that society can't manipulate. And you're sitting outside it like a homeless person, begging for validation from strangers. Teresa of Ávila wasn't born enlightened. She was born in 1515 in Spain, and as a teenager she was obsessed with romance novels, fashion, and getting attention from guys. Sound familiar? She became a nun. But even then she was half-assing it. She admits she spent years just going through the motions, socializing, being mediocre. Then something happened. Around age 30, she started having these intense experiences, moments where she felt like she was seeing reality for the first time. Like someone had just turned on the lights in a room she'd been stumbling around in the dark. And instead of keeping it to herself, she did something revolutionary. She wrote it all down. She created a map. She called it The Interior Castle. And it's not some boring religious textbook. It's a guide to the rooms inside your own soul. A blueprint for going from beggar to king of your own life. The Catholic Church almost banned it. The Inquisition investigated her. Why? Because she was telling people they had power, real power, inner power that no one could take away. Teresa says the outer courtyard of your soul is crawling with reptiles, these nasty little creatures that bite and sting and keep you distracted. In her time, these reptiles were gossip, vanity, greed, lust. In our time? Let me tell you what these reptiles look like today. Your phone buzzing every 30 seconds. That dopamine hit from likes and comments. The constant comparison. Why does everyone else seem so happy? The endless scrolling that leaves you feeling empty but unable to stop the hustle culture that tells you you're worthless unless you're grinding 24/7. The self-help industry that keeps you buying the next course, the next book, the next program. Anything except actually doing the work. The dating apps that turn human connection into a slot machine. The news cycle that keeps you angry and afraid. The shopping that promises to fill the void but only empties your bank account. These are your reptiles. And they're not accidents. They're designed to keep you in the courtyard, to keep you begging, to keep you from ever looking inward. Because the moment you step inside your own castle, you stop being a consumer. You stop being controllable. You become dangerous to the system that profits from your emptiness. Here's what Teresa realized. You can't fight the reptiles. You can't kill them. You have to walk past them. Every time you choose silence over scrolling, depth over distraction, truth over entertainment, you're taking a step toward the palace door. The first rooms of the castle are dim. You've just stepped inside, but you can still hear all the noise from the courtyard. The reptiles are still hissing outside. Part of you wants to run back. This is what it feels like when you first start trying to change. You meditate for 5 minutes, and your mind goes crazy. You try to eat healthy, and all you can think about is pizza. You delete social media, and you feel like you're missing out on everything. Teresa calls this the awakening stage. You're starting to realize, holy shit, I'm more than just my job, my body, my Instagram account. There's something deeper here, but it's uncomfortable as hell, because for the first time, you're alone with yourself. No distractions, no numbing. Just you and the truth of who you actually are underneath all the noise. Most people turn around here. They go back to the courtyard because it's easier to be distracted than to be real. But if you stay, if you keep walking, something incredible starts to happen. You start to hear your own voice. Not the voice that sounds like your parents, your boss, your critics. Your actual voice. The one that knows what you really want, what you really believe, who you really are. And that voice starts to get stronger. This is where it gets brutal. The middle rooms are where you go to war with your own ego. Teresa doesn't sugarcoat it. She says the biggest enemy in these rooms isn't society, isn't other people. It's you. Specifically, it's the part of you that thinks it's the center of the universe. Your ego is that voice that says, I need everyone to like me. I deserve special treatment. My problems are worse than everyone else's. I'm the main character in everyone else's story. Sound familiar? That's your ego talking. And in the middle rooms, you finally see it for what it is. A spoiled child throwing tantrums. Here's what this looks like in real life. You start a business and get obsessed with what people think instead of serving customers. You get into a relationship and make it all about getting your needs met instead of loving the other person. You create content and care more about likes than actually helping people. Teresa calls this spiritual pride, when you think you're better than others because you're working on yourself, like you're somehow special because you meditate or read philosophy. But here's the breakthrough. The moment you stop trying to be the king of your own castle, you realize there already is a king. Call it God, call it truth, call it the universe. There's something bigger than your ego running the show. And that's terrifying and liberating, because you don't have to carry the weight of being perfect anymore. As you go deeper, something beautiful starts to happen. The noise from the courtyard gets quieter. The light gets brighter. You start to taste what Teresa calls the fountains. Moments of pure joy that come from nowhere. You know those moments when you're watching a sunset and suddenly everything makes sense? When you're laughing with friends and time disappears. When you're creating something and you forget yourself completely. Those are glimpses of the deeper rooms. Moments when your ego shuts up and you touch something real. But here's the thing, you can't force these moments. You can't buy them, hack them, or hustle your way into them. They come when you stop trying so hard to make them happen. Teresa says humility is the key. Not thinking less of yourself, but thinking about yourself less. Realizing the world doesn't revolve around you. That you're part of something bigger and more beautiful than your own little story. In practical terms, this means serving others without expecting anything back. Creating for the joy of creating, not for applause. Loving without keeping score. Being present instead of always thinking about the next thing. The deeper you go, the more you realize. Happiness isn't something you achieve. It's something you uncover. It was always there, buried under layers of ego and distraction. Teresa describes the center of the castle as blazing with light, so bright it's almost impossible to look at. She says this is where God lives, not some angry judge in the sky, but the source of love itself, right at the core of who you are. Now, maybe you don't believe in God. That's fine. But you can't deny this. There's something at the center of you that's untouchable. Something that was there before you had a job, a relationship status, a social media account. Something that'll be there after all of that is gone. Call it your true self. Call it consciousness. Call it love. The name doesn't matter. What matters is that it's real and it's yours, and nobody can take it from you. When you reach the center, everything changes. Not because your circumstances are different, but because you see them differently. So if the castle is so amazing, if the center is so peaceful, why are most people still outside eating scraps? Because walking inward is scary as hell. It means giving up the stories you tell yourself. It means facing the pain you've been avoiding. It means admitting that maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't your job, your relationship, your bank account. Maybe the problem is you. It means getting off the hamster wheel of trying to impress people who don't care about you. It means saying no to opportunities that don't align with your values, even when they look good on paper. It means being okay with people thinking you're weird for not playing their games anymore. Most people would rather be miserable and distracted than peaceful and alone. Because being alone means facing yourself. And facing yourself means seeing all the ways you've been lying to yourself. But here's what Teresa knew. On the other side of that fear is freedom. Real freedom. Not the fake freedom of doing whatever you want. The deep freedom of being who you actually are. The freedom of not needing anyone else's permission to be happy. The freedom of not being controlled by other people's opinions. The freedom of knowing that no matter what happens outside, you have a place inside where you're always safe. Let's get specific about what's keeping you in the courtyard right now. Social media designed to make you feel inadequate so you'll keep scrolling and clicking ads. Dating apps that turn love into a numbers game. News that keeps you angry and afraid. Productivity porn that makes you feel guilty for resting. Consumer culture that promises happiness is just one purchase away. Hustle culture that equates your worth with your output. Comparison culture that makes everyone else's highlight reel your reality check. These aren't just annoying. They're specifically designed to keep you from going inward. Because a person who knows their own worth is a person who can't be sold to. A person who's found their center is a person who can't be controlled. The system needs you to be a beggar. It needs you to be restless, dissatisfied, always wanting more. Because the moment you find your palace, you stop needing what they're selling. Here's the practical part. You don't need to become a nun or move to a monastery. You can start walking toward your castle right now. First, create silence. Real silence. Not meditation music playing while you think about your to-do list. Actual quiet where you can hear your own thoughts without distractions. Start with 10 minutes a day. No phone, no music, no agenda. Just sit and let whatever comes up, come up. Don't try to fix it or change it. Just notice it. Second, stop feeding the reptiles. You know what they are. The apps that make you feel bad about yourself. The people who drain your energy. The habits that numb you out. You don't have to go cold turkey on everything, but start somewhere. Delete one app. Say no to one toxic person. Replace one numbing habit with something that actually nourishes you. Third, tell the truth. To yourself first, then to others. What do you actually want? Not what you think you should want. Not what would impress people. What do you want? Where are you lying to yourself? Where are you pretending to be someone you're not? Where are you saying yes when you mean no? The truth will set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. Because you'll realize how much of your life has been lived for other people. Here's the thing Teresa understood that most people don't. You're not locked out of your own palace. You never were. The door is open. It's always been open. The only thing keeping you outside is the belief that you don't belong there. But you do belong there. The castle was built for you. The king has been waiting for you. Not to judge you. Not to punish you for all the time you wasted outside. To welcome you home. Every single day you have the choice. Stay in the courtyard with the reptiles, begging for scraps. Or walk through the open door into the light. Most people choose the courtyard because it's familiar. Misery is comfortable when it's all you know. If this video made you realize you've been living like a beggar outside your own palace, hit that like button and let me know in the comments. What's one reptile you're going to stop feeding this week? And if you want to understand why you keep waiting for permission instead of walking through open doors, watch my video on Kafka's Before the Law. It's about a man who spent his entire life waiting outside a door that was made only for him, and it will blow your mind. Remember, you're not a beggar. You're royalty who forgot where home is. Time to come back.